This is a safety tip brought to you by the Certified Horsemanship Association. I'm Julie Goodnight, and this is my equine partner, American Quarter Horse gelding, Cliff's Edge. We're here today to talk to you about bridling and unbridling the English horse. I've got my horse all saddled and ready to go, everything except the bridle, so we're ready to get going here. Before I approach my horse with the bridle, I want to make sure I have everything organized. I don't want to be coming up close to the horse's head and then fumbling and untangling and having my horse get impatient and frustrated. So I'll make sure my bridle and reins are organized, the cavesson is straight and unfastened and ready to go. And I don't want to bridle a horse when he is tied hard and fast to something. Anytime you're messing with the head of the horse, it's important to always untie him first so you don't make him uncomfortable and create a problem with the horse panicking and pulling back. So I'm just going to slip the halter off and then place the reins over the neck of the horse. So now I can hold this horse and control this horse simply with a loop of the reins around the throat latch. If I needed to, I could lead the horse this way. So get my halter out of the way here. And so I have plenty of control of the horse by just having the reins at the throat latch of the horse. So keeping my reins here now, I'm ready to bridle the horse. So I'm going to just place the headstall up to the nose. Then I'll bring my right hand between the ears of the horse and lay it over the poll of the horse so I can grab the crown piece of the bridle with my right hand. And that allows my left hand to be free to help organize all the parts of the bridle. I'm going to place my fingers around the bit so I can gently guide that bit up into the mouth. I just put the bit up to the lips and just wait for a minute, let the horse open his mouth and take the bit in his mouth. You'll notice that I'm holding upward pressure on the headstall. This is going to keep the bit up high in the horse's mouth and prevent it from clinking on his teeth, which could cause a lot of discomfort to your horse. And now, continuing to hold this upward pressure, I'm going to start with the offside ear. Just gently bring the ear forward and slip it into the headstall. Now I'll come to my near side ear, slide it forward, try not to bend the ear or crinkle the ear. We want to try to be courteous to our horse and make sure he's comfortable at all times. So I want to straighten out the hair underneath the forelock and the mane underneath the crown piece. I'm just going to reach over here and make sure the brow band is nice and level and tucked up close to the horse's ear. We don't want that brow band down low because it brings the cheek piece of the bridle too close to the horse's eye. So we're going to snug that brow band up to this little notch below the ear. I want to tuck my cavesson straps to the inside of the headstall. And before I fasten everything up, I just want to come to the front. I want to make sure the cavesson is level from side to side, the brow band is level, the bit is level in the horse's mouth. And now I'm going to come around and fasten the throat latch. The throat latch is a really important part of your bridle. It's what keeps the headstall on the horse. If he shakes his head hard or you gets that headstall snagged on something, it could easily come off over his ears if it weren't for the throat latch. So I'm going to fasten the throat latch and put the little keeper in. I want to check to have about 3 fingers of distance underneath the throat latch between the throat and the throat latch of the horse. That's about the right adjustment to keep the bridle on. And then finally, I'm going to fasten the cavesson. Generally, riding in the English bridle, particularly with the snaffle bit, we're going to use a noseband on the horse to help stabilize that bit in the horse's mouth, to help balance that bit in the horse's mouth, and to discourage the horse from opening his mouth when we take contact. So I'll buckle up the cavesson here. It's got 2 little keepers in there. I always want to make sure all my keepers are fastened so I don't have straps flapping around and irritating the horse. And now the proper adjustment for the cavesson is going to be 2 fingers underneath the chin, or 1 to 2 fingers. Some people like it a little more snug. I like the horse to have a little more comfort and freedom, so I'm going to go with 2 fingers underneath here. I also want to make sure the height of the cavesson is proper, so it has its own little adjustment, its own strap right here. This cavesson is properly adjusted for this horse. But if we look at the bottom of the cheekbone, so this is the cheekbone of the horse, here's the bottom of it, and then the corner of the horse's mouth. Your cavesson should be about halfway between the bottom of the cheekbone and the corner of the horse's mouth. We want to make sure that it's not too low to protect the delicate tissues on the front of the horse's nose. So you're going to be about 1 finger width below the cheekbone, 1 to 2, and it's about the same adjustment as your halter. Any noseband that goes around the horse's face, whether it's a halter, a cavesson, or any kind of tie down or a mechanical hackamore of any kind, this is the way we always adjust it to make sure that noseband is high up on the horse's nose and not getting down into these delicate tissues down here low on the nose. Also, I want to check the level of the bit in the horse's mouth. I want to make sure that this bit is well up into the corners of the mouth, that there's no gap between the top lip of the horse and the bit. If we allow any kind of gap in here, the bit could potentially hit the teeth of the horse. That would be very uncomfortable to him. I don't want too much upward pressure on the bit either, so I'm not looking for 1 or 2 or 3 wrinkles there. I just want the bit to fit snug into the corner of the horse's mouth. And now we're all ready to go. I can bring the reins back off so that I'm ready to lead my horse properly with the reins in my hands. So I've had a great ride on my horse here, and it's time to unbridle now. So in reverse, we're going to put the reins up here where we still have good control of the horse. I want to unfasten the throat latch and also unfasten the cavesson so that the bridle will slide easily off the head of the horse. Now I can control the horse with the reins here by holding a loop right at the throat latch. I'm just going to hook my thumb under the headstall here. I'm going to lift up as I gently bring the crown piece over the ears. Now I'm going to wait for that horse to open his mouth. So I'm holding upward pressure on this bridle, and I'm going to let him gently spit that bit out. If you try to pull the bridle off the horse or pull the bit out of the horse's mouth, it's going to get hung up on his teeth, and that's going to be very uncomfortable for him. It could frighten him. And from that point forward, you might have a problem unbridling your horse. So always hold that upward pressure, slightly start letting that bit down, and wait for the horse to open his mouth and spit the bit out. So now I've got my bridle off. I'm ready with my halter. Just to slip that halter on the horse. And now I can bring my reins off, and we're ready to tie the horse up. This is another safety tip brought to you by CHA.